I would go so far as to say who have the opportunity to hear the gospel, but could not care enough about it to even hear. That's the grace of God giving them that opportunity. So it's bestowed in vain.
If one does not believe in the gospel and it's given to them, then the gospel's being given in vain.
In vain, it's a waste.
You know, I think there's another aspect that can be brought out here, and it concerns the believer finishing the race that God has given them, finishes basically. You know, every believer, we all start out the same way. We all start out by grace through faith. There is no such thing as a self-made Christian. It doesn't happen that way. It's all by the grace of God.
Right.
But Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 2 says, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. What has happened over the years so many times is that people truly get saved, but through the cares of this life or through false doctrine, sometimes, or through a lack of teaching, or just a lack of being in a church that teaches the truth, or various different reasons, their faith just dries up, basically, in a sense. And they, again, whether through whatever means that may be, but they, you know, only God knows that point, that they lose their salvation, that they no longer believe. But that person, for that person who loses faith, I think that could be said of that person as well, that the grace of God was bestowed upon them in vain, because they started but didn't finish. And the same faith that it takes to start, which is faith in Christ and what He's done for us at Calvary, it's the same faith it takes to finish. It's the same faith, same object of faith. And I think that, again, for the believer who started out right, they were truly saved, but loses their way, and many times it happens through false doctrine. That I think it could be said of that individual that grace was bestowed in vain.
Couldn't you say that it's like a person with a disease that is terminal, it's going to kill him, is killing him, and the doctor walks in with a medicine that will cure him, and he says, no, I don't want it, take it away. And he dies. He's going to die. Isn't that about the same as a human being? The offer is extended, but they say, I don't want it. Yeah. And they walk away into eternal damnation. Now, I also believe that God is merciful and gracious, and He will extend that grace many times. And now that doesn't mean, well, if I can wait till the last moment and everything will be all right. That's a dangerous thing to do. You're playing so-called Russian roulette. After a while, the bullet's going to hit the chamber. And because Jim brought it out, just alluded to it a few programs ago, the salvation of the soul is the single most important thing on the face of the earth. Nothing even remotely comes up with that. That's why Jesus said, if a man gain the whole world and lose his own soul, what has it profited him? And so, you know, anything else that we foolishly turn down is one thing. But when you turn down the grace of God, you've turned down the only avenue that can bring you to salvation. Nothing else can.
Brother Schweibert, the word there for in vain, grace which was bestowed upon me, and His grace which was bestowed upon me was not in vain, is the Greek word kino, and it means literally empty, that the grace of God did not become an empty nothing in my life. This can also apply to when we come to Christ. We come, God saves us by His grace, His goodness extended to unworthy people, and we receive what Christ did for us.